Chapter 17. Functioning of Central Government. Reading Objectives. Qualification and disqualification of a member. Working of Cabinet. Cabinet Committees. Powers of Cabinet. Distribution of powers. Legislative. In the parliamentary government, the actual power of executive is exercised by the Cabinet. The Cabinet is a main organ of central government besides Prime Minister and President. The Union or central government comprises the President, Prime Minister, and the Council of Ministers, Cabinet. First we understand about the person who enters Parliament as a representative of the people. Qualification and disqualification of a member. Qualifications. In order to be chosen as a member of the Rajya Sabha or the State Legislative Council, a person must not be less than 30 years of age. Other qualifications are the same as the candidate for the membership of the Lok Sabha or the State Legislative Assembly, which are: he or she should have attained the age of 25 years. He or she should not be holding an office of profit, other than those of minister or deputy minister. He or she should be of sound mind. He or she should be an undischarged insolvent. He or she should be a citizen of India. He or she should not have any disqualifications under any law made by Parliament. Enrich yourself. GST. The Finance Commission came into existence in 1951. It was established under the Article 280 of the Indian Constitution by the President of India. It was formed to define the financial relations between centre and the state. The Narendra Modi government accepted recommendations of the 14th Finance Commission for increasing share of state in central taxes to 42%. The recommendations, which the government will likely accept, will give more power to states in determining how they spend this money. The increase could also serve as a confidence-building measure, particularly relevant given that the centre and states are negotiating the introduction of a single goods and services tax, GST, under which the latter will forego most of their taxation powers. GST will stitch together a common national market by subsuming a welter of local levies such as octroi, VAT and other into a single tax. Disqualifications. The Representation of People's Act disqualifies a person from the membership of a legislature if he has been found guilty of certain election offences or corrupt practices in election. If he has been convicted and sentenced to transportation or to imprisonment for not less than 2 years. If he has been dismissed from government services for corruption or disloyalty to the state. Working of the Cabinet. The Cabinet works on certain principles, which expect some discipline from the ministers. The Cabinet generally meets once a week, when Parliament is in session or when urgent matters required immediate decisions. It may hold more than a meeting in a week. The agenda for the meeting is prepared by the Cabinet Secretariat in consultation with the Prime Minister. There are no definite rules determining the subjects for discussion in the Cabinet. The Prime Minister presides over the meeting and in his absence, the Deputy Prime Minister takes the chair. The duration of the meeting depends upon the nature of the agenda. The decisions taken in the meeting are forwarded to the ministers concerned for their implementation. Cabinet Committees. The Cabinet has neither the time nor is able to tackle all the administration of the country. In order to help the Cabinet in discharging the administrative functions, the Cabinet Committees are formed. Some of these committees are of permanent nature while some are formed temporarily for a particular cause. The Cabinet Committees report to whole Cabinet. Get to know more. Child labor. Child means a person who has not completed 14 years of age, according to the Minimum Wages Act, 1948. The Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986 prohibits employment of children below 14 years of age in certain occupations and processes considered hazardous but remains silent on the agriculture sector where the majority, or 70% of the workers engaged are children. Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Amendment Act 2016 prohibits the engagement of children in all occupations and of adolescent in hazardous occupations and process, wherein adolescents refers to those under 18 years. Powers of the Cabinet. Cabinet is the supreme directing authority which controls the whole of the executive government of the Union. It is a policy formulating body. It discusses and decides all sort of national and international problems confronting the country. No doubt the Parliament makes the laws for the people of the country. But the Cabinet leads the Parliament in this matter. When the Cabinet feels that there is a need for a law to be changed with the changing times, or when the Cabinet feels that some new laws are required to implement certain policies in the interest of the country, it submits a proposal to the Parliament for legislation. Distribution of powers. Legislative. There are as many as 56 articles. Article 245 to 300. In Part 11 and 12 of the Constitution devoted to the state-central relations. Part 11, Article 245,263, contains the legislative and administrative relations, and Part 12, Articles 264 to 300, contains the financial relations. The three lists given below provide a threefold distribution of legislative powers between Union and the states. Fact. Fill in the blanks. 1. The laws for the people are made in the blank. 2. The Council of Ministers is an advisory body to the blank. 3. Union list includes blank items. 4. Blank comprise of 61 items that are state subjects. 5. Wages means all remuneration capable of being expressed in terms of blank. Union list. List 1 includes 99 items including residuary powers, most of them within the jurisdiction of the Union. The more important subjects in this list are defense, armed forces, arms and ammunition, atomic energy, foreign affairs, coinage, banking and insurance. The state legislatures have no jurisdiction over most of the items of the Union list. There are some items like interstate matters, such as interstate rivers and valleys. These too are within the jurisdiction of the Union. Some state subjects like industries also have been put under the Union list by an act of the Parliament. Likewise, some universities have been included in this list, though generally universities is a state subject. State list. List 2 is the state list. It comprises of 61 items that are state subjects. Over these subjects, the state has exclusive power of legislation. These are subjects of local importance, where variation in law in response to local situations may be necessary. Some subjects of vital importance in the state list are state taxes and duties, police, administration of justice, local self-government, public health, agriculture, forests, fisheries, industries and minerals. However, the Constitution allows the Centre to take any of these state subjects in the Union list. Concurrent list. The List 3 or the concurrent list is a unique feature of Indian federal system. This list includes 52 items. These include criminal law procedure, civil procedure, marriage, contract, port trust, labor welfare, economic and social planning. These items are such that may require at times the legislation by Parliament and sometimes the legislation by the state assemblies. There are two advantages in providing a concurrent list. Where Parliament does not find it necessary to make laws, the states can do so. In case this is followed by other states and the matter assumes a national status, Parliament may come into action for making a law. Searching dictionary. Wage. A regular amount of money that one earns. Employer. A person that pays people to work for them. Employee. A person who is paid to work. Predominance of union law. In case of overlapping of a matter among the three lists, the union legislature is given predominance, under the Government of India Act, 1935. So, the lists are ultimately subject to the supremacy of Parliament. Residuary powers. The powers for making a law regarding any item not found in any of three lists are vested in Parliament. Parliament alone is empowered to make a law in such case. However, the courts decide whether the Parliament should make a law for the items not found in any of the lists. Case study. Minimum Wages Act of 1948. Minimum Wages Act of 1948. It implies the fixation of the rate or notes of minimum wages by a process or by invoking the authority of the state. The statutory minimum wage has the force of law and it becomes obligatory or the part of the employers not to pay below the prescribed minimum wages to its employees. This process helps the employees in getting fair and reasonable wages, more particularly in the unorganized sector. Also, the other gains which could be derived by fixing minimum wages under statutory provisions are to ensure rapid growth and equitable distribution of the national income, thereby ensuring sound development of the national economy. Accordingly, the Parliament passed the Bill of Minimum Wages, which was made Law W. A. F. 15 March 1948. It was the 11th Act to be framed by the Parliament in 1948. It extends to the whole of India. Minimum rate of wages may be fixed by any one or more of the following wage periods, namely, 1 by the hour, 2 by the day, 3 by the month, 4 by such other larger period as month. Provided that where any wage periods have been fixed under Section 40 of the Payment of Wages Act, 1936, 4 of 1936, minimum wages shall be fixed in accordance therewith. Daily wages in India. Currently the number of scheduled employments in the central sphere is 45, whereas in the states the number is 1650, when all states are counted. With effect from November 2009, the national floor level of minimum wage has been increased from 100 rupees to 137 rupees per day, which was in effect since 2007. Word to know. Union government comprises the President, the Prime Minister, and the Council of Ministers. The Cabinet works on certain principles. Cabinet committees are formed by the Prime Minister to assist in the discharge of administrative work. Cabinet is the supreme directing authority controlling the central government. Legislative powers are distributed through three lists between the union and state governments. The union list includes 99 such items over which the Parliament has the jurisdiction. The state list comprises of 61 items over which state legislature has the jurisdiction.